words. They take it away from me. Okay, so, hey everybody. Hi. I'm sorry I'm not around a lot. I have a kid and my life is about the kid at this point. But, thank you. Well, I'm asking for some help because we put in I didn't actually. Let me tell you a little story. So there's this place in North Las Vegas called Tule Springs, and they're about to make it into a national landmark because they discovered dinosaur mammoth bones there. It's pretty cool. And the reason they discovered it is because the house builders went in and they started digging, and then they realized, holy shit, there's a lot of bones here, not just like a little. This is a shitload of bones. We need to save this little spot and build houses all around it. And there was this girl who's her name is Tahoe Mac, and at the time she was like 16, and she was like, wow, that's so cool. We have mammoths here in Vegas. Who would have thunk? You know, we got a lot of stuff. Mammoths, that's something new. And she's like, what if we went out to the desert and collected all this trash and built a life-size mammoth? So she went to the builders into the city, and the city said, fuck yeah, do it, kid. Right? Now, she's now 17, so she's got all the skills 17-year-olds do. And she and her mom have been working to make this happen with this North City, Las Vegas. They have given her a warehouse. They have given her connections to a welder here in town that's made the actual skeleton. And that's where I came in, because they were just like, but we want to make it like with the skin. Like, it's not a skeleton. We want to make a real, like, mammoth come to life. And I said, well, I happen to know an artist that might help you. You might know her name, Dana Albany and Flash. She did a lot of the metal sculptures of like, what was the last one called? It was near the Man last year and a couple of years ago. Right. Yeah, like a beautiful goddess, completely made out of trash, right? With the metal pieces, it made the muscles formed, and it was gorgeous. And she heard about this project. I told her about the girl, and she's a gold star. What is she? She's a gold star. She's going for her gold award project with the Girl Scouts. And so, you know, Girl Scouts and Burning Man, how does this go together? Oh, I like this, you know. Girl Scouts come to Burning Man? Yes. So I mentioned this to this young lady. I said, have you ever heard of Burning Man? You know, because it's my whole life. But I'm going to ask you if you're, oh my God, yes, of course I've heard about it. I've always wanted to go. My whole life I want to go. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool? Because it's going to be built here in Las Vegas with our trash, right? Wouldn't it be cool? Because we're going to have to make it mobile to get it to the space. What if it made a stop in northern Las Vegas, in north Nevada first, and we put it together in the Black Rock Desert? And she was just like, what? You know, this is just
mind blown.
What? I was like, yeah, I mean, it is, but she gathered very quickly that this would be her way to get to Burning Man, because, you know, 17. How are you going to get there? You're facing the same thing. Come up with a giant art project, of course. So, Dana Albany and Flash are on their way here with a truck. They're landing tonight. We have the warehouse. Henry Chang has helped us out with the big metal things to hold the metal in, you know, the boxes, because it's going to be a lot. You can imagine, I don't know if you know how big a mammoth, it's like 3 stories big.
It's big, it's mammoth.
It's mammoth! That's right.
Everything in the
It's mammoth, it's like twice the size of an elephant.
Yeah, yes. So we'd like to do some walks through the desert collecting trash, and that's everything from those little gun bullet leftovers to giant pieces of metal to washing machines to everything you find out there, and before it gets too hot, obviously. And also, Flash and Dana are only here for 3 months to work on this thing, so it's a time thing. How can you help? Well, if you go to the protectorsofTuleSprings.org, monumental-mammoth project, or you just type into Google like monumental mammoth project. It's hard to say. Just type that in, you'll find out more information. And I'm going to be doing announcements of when we're going out to the desert to go hike around for garbage. And I'll let you know where the workshop is, and if you want to come down and help us move the garbage to move it over to where Dana's going to be doing her magic. That'd be great too. The more the merrier. It's monumental. We need everybody's help. And there's going to be a bunch of Girl Scouts helping too, and they've never met us before, so. We're the money outfit, but also they'll realize, those Burning Man people are not
It's
what
the
I
number
thought
one
they were.
thing on
I will
Google.
say there was
Right,
a
there you
Girl
go.
Scout
Now you might
before.
spell it right.
There, oh good, yes.
I'm finding like 3 times a week, so.
Oh.
What kind of trash, like, do you want to metal or anything?
Anything metal.
Anything.
Although they're also going to collect glass to put a mosaic around on the bottom to make it look like it's coming out of mud and water, out of all the pieces of all those little shards of crap you find out there. But no plastic, obviously. We're trying to make this thing last forever, so plastic won't, but glass and metal will, most of it. And yeah, I mean, contact me if you need any more information. Thank you so much.
Amazing. I gotta tell you, former Girl Scouts end up going to Burning Man. I was a senior scout for Girl Scouts. That's why I learned to appreciate dirt, barbecuing, things like that.
Perfect.
I know, perfect.
Dirt and barbecue mixed together.
I know, right? It's delicious. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that we might want to think about in the future of the community. There was a project, a kind of small one that happened last year, but I think it had a great deal of importance. And the lovely Bobby and Bob and a number of community members helped me with this idea that I had to create a memorial for folks in our community who have contributed to our community but have passed on. We always have a sense of impermanence when we deal with our community, but the truth is, some of us have been doing this for 20 years now, and you didn't realize that impermanence would last that long. But also aspects of it is those people who have helped build this community, gave their love, their heart, their soul, they should not be forgotten, because they gave so much to give us what we have here today. We're proof of it, just gathered in this room. So it was Bobby, Sin City, they were kind enough to donate their Las Vegas Sin City sign and rewrote the names of some of our community members who had passed on. And Larry Harvey's name was included in that last year. And it was taken down to the temple and it was burned. I would like to see if we could do something of that nature every year. If we could create some type of either memorial structure or something along those lines so that we can remember those folks who've contributed to our community and the growth of our community and given their love. So I'm putting that out there. If anyone has any ideas, it's going to happen. I just don't know how it's going to happen this year. But I'm open to suggestions from folks.
We can do it like EMS last call.
EMS.
Well, when we have a fallen person in our community, in the EMS community, we do what's called last call. So what we do is we get the community together. Of course, everyone goes to in our community. And what we do is, like, if they were a ranger, let's say, then what we would do is we would send that, we would call out their ranger name. Somebody give me a ranger name that's not going to be offensive. Anybody?
Duke.
Huh?
Duke.
Duke. Okay, so, Ranger Duke, please report to Camp Epic for a confrontation. Ranger Duke doesn't answer because Ranger Duke is dead. So we call out again. Ranger Duke, please respond to a call. Once he doesn't, the second time, Ranger Duke is now been relieved of service, now we've been retired of service, Godspeed, blah, blah, blah. We do the whole formal ceremony stuff. It is actually, if you've never been to what they call a last call, it is, once the radio comes on, we get a dispatcher come on there and actually send that call out, it really is emotional. It's extremely emotional. We could do last call. That would be...
And maybe we can include that in something where we gather everybody together on a burning Monday to construct something for, yes.
You're talking about taking like an actual item to like bring it to the burn as a tribute to them having not been able to go themselves this time.
Exactly, because they can't. They
So
can't
more
make
like
it.
some kind of a little small plaque or piece of art or
Sure, like a piece of art that,
even a resemblance of that individual in some way.
whatever you choose
Something about it.
right, like for instance, Mama Lindsay's passed on, Gabe's mom, and it'd be nice to be able to have something that we can take to the burn, as a community for those community members who've passed on, or even relatives of people that in our own family that we know passed on. And some folks can't make it to the burn, maybe they want to write the names of someone that they love on this piece that we can then take to the burn and burn on their behalf. So, you had your hand raised, Bobby? You're gonna.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
How come we gotta burn it? How come we can't keep it around so people can see the names of the people?
We can.
Pictures of the people who passed away, whatever.
I agree with that as well. I mean, I know that because in my mind I thought, well, it'd be nice to have a plaque of something with names of our community members, people who contributed, or something of that sort. I mean, we can maybe kind of, decide as a community as to what to do. Maybe we can do one or do both. But I know it felt good in a strange way that I was honoring these people when we took that structure out there to the temple and burned it with these folks' names on it. So, if we want to, like I said, this is just an open idea that I have out there. We did it last year. If we can maybe find a way to create a plaque or something this year, and then maybe have something else that we can take out there as well. Our community has been around for a while, and I see us hopefully continuing to be a community for a number of years. So I just putting the idea out there. I'll put something online, and maybe folks, you guys can help me brainstorm, and we can come up with something. Okay, thanks. Next, I'd like to mention really quick, some communities have established what they call code of conduct. Across the board, different Burning Man communities they don't get it. They seem to be harassing people. Somebody's been physically attacked. What do we hold it up to? Did they follow the code of conduct? This is the code of conduct. Now, this is something we can decide as a community. Not all communities have codes of conduct, but this is something that we as a community can establish so we can have at our events so that it doesn't get fuzzy. If somebody is interfering with everybody's experience and they're being radically inclusive, but this person is seriously endangering people or not making everyone's experience a good one in a safe way, then that's what a code of conduct helps you kind of flesh out. So I definitely would like some feedback on that. So
I welcome that because in our home, many of you have been to one or more events at our home, and we've done events as much as 85, 90 people a couple of times. And you'll always see when you walk in our front door, this is the code of conduct that is expected at our parties. It'll be like it's a clothing optional space, but it's a consensual space. It's respect. It's, clean up. If you've had too much to drink, let us know. We'll get you home. But respect is like the top of the list for us because, I'm thankful that in 6 years, we've only had to 86 people from our home. We've truly been blessed because this is a really strong community and most people get it. But it's good to have those reminders when you step inside the door, like, hey, this is a respectful, consensual space, and you need to own that. And so I strongly support that. It's something that people I work with can't believe we do parties that big at our house and don't have problems. It's because you set the tone, you set the expectation, and then all of our friends that come all the time help enforce that and help keep it, going down the right path. If it starts to stray, they'll
so we'll go to sleep and there'll be 30 people there.
Yeah.
And they're just sleeping on the lawn with all the pool floats and stuff the next day. We don't have a care in the world because we know everyone is looking out for each other.
But it's a reminder. It's not necessarily setting rules as much as it's like, hey, this is a guideline. This is, don't let it get off the rails. Just unique reminders sometimes.
An expectation.
thank you. Anyone else have to contribute to that? Hi.
So we're going to just go back to open comments, open forum, is that correct?
Yeah, this is kind of
Ladies, gentlemen, distinguished panelists, and indistinguishable panelists.
Everybody.
My name is Tyler Joss, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Sasquatch Ecological Society, and the other half is the fairy shrimp. My first contact with the fairy shrimp was a few years back when the underlying theme was fairy shrimp. I thought this was a silly ruse, but came to find out this was no ruse at all, which roused a standing water-deep interest into the subject. What is a fairy shrimp, you may ask? Well, a fairy shrimp are crustaceans in the class of brachiopoda. When the conditions are right on the playa, and the playa floods, these dormant crustaceans emerge for an all-out fuckfest in the hopes that they can reproduce before the dry times come again. Burning Man impact on the fairy shrimp. Estimations of fairy shrimp murder each year vary from source to source, but they range from 0 to 6,000 million. How do we prevent fairy shrimp murders? You need to properly store your gas and refill your generators. If you spill, scoop it up and take it home. Peeing on the playa? No, don't do it. No one wants piss in their home. Glitter also sticks to them like seagulls on a French fry. So don't do glitter. It's horrible, and there's a special place in hell for the person that brought star glitter to my camp and spilt it everywhere, and I spent like 3 hours when I thought I was going to go home at the end of the event, picking it out of the sand. A little-known predator of the fairy shrimp is the playa shark. Playa sharks generally circle the perimeter of the event, but are attracted to moop, and once enough is around, they enter into a full-on feeding frenzy where no creature is safe. So keep the playa clean.
That sounds like nature to me.
That's nature getting out of hand because we're introducing a foreign food source. Okay, and last and most importantly, don't drunkenly say you're going to give a talk on fairy shrimp and forget, then drunkenly be reminded 2 months later that you're going to give a talk on fairy shrimp and forget again. Then look at and see that this event is happening 30 minutes before the event and that you are doing a talk on fairy shrimp. Or do I don't care, I'm not your stepdad, just don't murder fairy shrimp.
Extremely sarcastic. I spent last year fighting cancer. One of the things I found in December, I was given my remission stamp, and one of the things I've learned is that once you're done fighting, you're not done. There's still a lot of stuff that goes into this. Last year in July, I learned about an organization called Burning Wish. They are a group out of San Francisco, started by a guy named SF Slim. If you ever want to read about a great burner, look him up. Slim was diagnosed with cancer. He went through chemo. He left Burning Man, drove to San Francisco, covered in playa dust to go do his chemo infusion. Burning Wish has a really simple goal. They want to send cancer survivors to Burning Man. They get their ticket, they help them with their accommodations, they find a camp for them to go to, whatever they need, they get them there. And I've decided that that's going to be my personal charity, for lack of a better term. So over the next few months, I've started talking to them about what can I do, even if it's just cutting them a check. I'm going to start doing some fundraising for them. And there's a lot of great fundraising stuff in this community and stuff, and not just in the Burning Man community, but all over this town. But this is something that means something to me. So you will start getting blasted about me doing some fundraising for Burning Wish, because this is something that's very important to me. So, and for lack of a better, anything else to try to end this with, fuck cancer.